Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into some ancient wisdom to find solutions for some very, very modern problems. We're going to see how a centuries-old text can give leaders a powerful framework for getting through a crisis.
It's a pretty wild question, right? I mean, we usually look to the latest tech gurus or business bestsellers for answers. But what if the most solid, most resilient strategies have actually been around for thousands of years? Well, today, we're going to connect those dots.
So our guide for this explainer is an analysis by Ümmet Ayyıldız, who pulls 3 incredibly powerful lessons from Surah Ali Imran. And these are our 3 pillars for today: building strategic trust, managing fear, and maintaining discipline. Let's dive into that first one.
Okay, our first pillar, strategic trust.
Now, this isn't just about, feeling good about your team. It's about building an organization that's so fundamentally solid, it relies on its own strength, its own systems, not on luck or pointing fingers when things go wrong.
This right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. A company that leans on temporary advantages or blames outside forces is, well, looking for strength in all the wrong places. Real strength, the kind that holds up in a crisis, it comes from the inside. It comes from what you've built and what you actually control.
Let me put it another way. This kind of trust isn't about feelings, it's about facts. It's this deep, deep confidence in your company's operational DNA, your processes, your data, your systems, and that is what separates the companies that panic from the ones that respond with a clear head.
And here's the key. Building this trust is everybody's job. Management has to set the course. The engineers are the ones building those error-proof processes. That's the poka-yoke you see here. And the operators, they're empowered to literally stop the production line to fix an issue, a concept called jidoka. Every single role owns a piece of this foundation.
And the great thing is, you can start doing this right now. For any business out there, this 4-step plan is a perfect place to start. Know your processes inside and out. Lock down your supply chain. Actually practice for when things break, and have a clear plan for how you'll talk to everyone when it does. This isn't just for huge corporations. This is about survival.
And if you want to see this in action, just look at Toyota. They don't just talk about trust. Their entire world-famous production system is literally built on it. Jidoka gives power to the workers. Just-in-time demands a trustworthy supply chain, and Kaizen means they solve problems for good. Their strength is baked right into the system.
Now, that solid foundation of trust, it lets you build the second pillar, managing fear. Because once you actually trust your own systems, you can start taking apart the single most destructive element in any crisis.
Now, that is a powerful, powerful idea. Fear doesn't just make people panic. It actually seeks out and exposes every single weakness. An organization that's built on something shaky, like only competing on price, or a culture of threats, that's the one that's going to crumble first. Fear finds the cracks and just blows them wide open.
And just like trust, managing fear is a team sport. It has to start from the top, with leaders who choose to be transparent instead of threatening. It has to continue with engineers who hunt for flaws in the system, not for people to blame. And it's made real by operators who feel totally safe to put their hand up and say, hey, we've got a problem here.
So how do you actually do it? Well, you build a no-blame culture where mistakes are seen as chances to get better. You throw open the communication channels so nothing is secret. You actually listen to the people on the front lines. And you constantly remind everyone that we trust the process, which is something we can all fix together.
And yep, we're back to Toyota, because their systems are practically designed to engineer fear out of the equation. Jidoka gives workers the confidence to stop everything over a tiny defect. Kaizen turns mistakes into learning moments. And Hoshin Kanri, their strategic planning process, makes sure everyone knows exactly where the ship is headed, which is the ultimate cure for the fear that comes from uncertainty.
Okay, so you've built your foundation of trust. You've put up a shield against fear. But there's one last really subtle danger lurking. Our third pillar is all about maintaining discipline, especially when you think the fight is already won. This points to a crazy paradox. Success itself can be a trap. The second a leader lets up, the second the team thinks, we've got this in the bag, that's the exact moment you become vulnerable. Complacency
That loss of discipline right at the finish line can wipe out everything you've worked for. And this discipline has to be absolute, all the way from the top to the bottom. Management has to fight that urge to just ship something that's good enough. Engineers have to make sure every single quality check is done. And operators have to stick to the plan, even on the very last item on the very last day of a project. No exceptions. So the path to discipline is paved with clear rules, checklists, and tough reviews. But look at that last point, leadership visibility. When your team sees that the leaders are just as focused, just as disciplined at the very end as they were at the start, wow, that sends a powerful message. And of course, Toyota's legendary focus is the perfect example of this. For them, standardized work is a religion. That andon cord can get pulled 1 minute before a huge shipment is due because quality always wins over the deadline. And with Hansei or self-reflection, even a huge win is just another chance to ask, okay, how can we be even better next time? The discipline just never stops. So, after digging into these 3 massive pillars, our source material boils all of this ancient wisdom down into 3 simple, direct commands for any leader.
Know what you're actually built on. You have to make a conscious choice. Don't build on luck or charm or what the market's doing this week. Build on solid, repeatable processes and principles that don't change. That's the only foundation that will survive a storm.
Second command, be an architect of trust, not of fear. Sure, fear might get you what you want in the short term, but it makes your organization brittle, ready to shatter. An ecosystem of trust, where the systems work and the people feel safe, that's what delivers resilience that can last for years. And the final command, guard your discipline. Guard it like it's the most precious thing you have, because it is. Complacency is the silent killer of excellence. A real leader holds the standard all the way across the finish line and then immediately raises the bar for the next race.
And that leaves us with one last really important question to ask yourself. Because this wisdom, as old as it is, tells us that a crisis is not a matter of if, but when. So when it shows up at your door, are you going to be standing on solid ground that you built yourself, or on something that's about to be washed away? Where does your strength truly lie?